Okay, we're on Nedarim, Perek Hey, Mishnah Aleph, first Mishnah in the 5th chapter of Second Nedarim. We're going to talk about a chatzer hashutfin, but in order to do that, we first have to show, look what people had way back when. This is from my Dropbox from Eruvin, okay? So you can see that when people, let's move myself out of the way for now. Okay, people had, they had entrances. This is the normal way they had Rishuta Rabim. This is just one of the crazy examples of the chatzerot, the courtyards they had. But what you have is like people would have a communal courtyard entering into and shared between different homes, different apartments. So this one had this many, they had a backyard. Some of them had separate, and some of them had this communal yard in front. And that's where they would use that's what they would share all of their, all their communal activities, because they had very small houses and they would live in the chatzer. Okay, so there are two types of chatzerot, two types of courtyards that we're going to discuss in our Mishnah. The first type of chatzer is called a chatzer sheyesh lo din chaluka. Actually, two types of courtyards. One of them we're going to discuss, one we're not going to discuss. Okay, chatzer sheyesh lo din chaluka means a chatzer that has arba amot yesh l'chol bayit. There's arba amot for every house. Okay, and then there's something called the chatzer she'ein lo din chaluka, where there's not arba amot. There aren't 4 square amot for each member, for each house in the courtyard. Okay, so our Mishnah. So basically, our Mishnah is going to be talking about, let's go to our Mishnah, and it's talking about shutfin shenadu hana'a zeh mizeh. So if we go back to our courtyard, two of these guys can't stand each other. And they can't stand each other as much as they're, I'm not going to have enough from you, I take a neder konam, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and the other guy also says, I can't stand you, I'm not going to have hana'a from you. Well, remember, we said that if you can't walk into my property, if you're not going to have hana'a from me, and I can't walk into your property. Well, what's the rule about shared property? That's the discussion in our Mishnah. So let's go back to our chart for a second. So just to understand, the Bartanura explains, we're not going to read it, but he says, listen, if it's a chatzer sheyesh lo din chaluka, if each house has 4 square amot, then they have to divide the chatzer. They can't split it up. But if it's a chatzer she'ein lo din chaluka, meaning there isn't 4 amot, if it's a small chatzer that they all use, and there's not enough room to split it up, then we have our machloket in our Mishnah. It says the Mishnah, hashutafim shenadu hana'ah zeh mizeh, if you have two partners in a chatzer that took the neder, they took an oath of not having benefit from each other. Asuin the kanes chatzer. Then Chachamim say, the Tanakama says, okay, they can't enter. Let's go back to our chatzer. Why? Because which part is mine and which part is yours? It's communal and it's unsplittable. Says the Chachamim. So therefore, you can't enter. Nobody can enter the chatzer because every time I enter, I'm entering into your space. Oops, sorry. But Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Eliezer ben Yaakov says no. Zeh nichnas l'toch shelo, v'zeh nichnas l'toch shelo. He says, even though really it's not divided up, we'll assume that when each one enters into the chatzer, this one goes into his property and the other one goes into his property. It's shared, so each one has part of the property. Each one enters into his part of the property. Let's look for 1 second. Here, the Bartanura. We'll read the Bartanura for 1 second. We're not going to read the whole thing. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Savar yesh breira. Breira means that you are somehow halachically, it's a halachic mechanism. That means we can determine retroactively that the part he went into was him. That's breira. V'hai b'didei ka'azil. Each one is going into his property, into his area. I mean, they're not locked out of the chatzer. Zen nichnas v'zen nichnas. But they're not. They can each one, when they walk into their part. But he admits they can't put. That's what they used it for. They can't use it to put the rechayim, the grinder, the tanur, the oven, ulegadel tarnegolim, or to raise chickens, and that's what they would use it for. They use the communal space. So if you took a neder not to benefit from your friend, then you're stuck. Okay? If one of them is mudar hana'ah, not the other, it's not two people, lo yikanes l'chatzer. Again, the Tanakama says he can't enter into the chatzer. But Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov similarly says, just like he said before, yacholu lomar lo, he can say to the other guy, l'toch shaliyah nichnas, ve'eni nichnas l'toch shalach. I'm going into my part of the property. I'm not going into your part of the property. Okay? And the Mishnah adds, v'kofin et hanoder limkor et chelko. If a person takes a neder and says, I'm not going into your property, then we force him, the person who prohibited on himself, okay, we force him to sell his part in the property. Why? This is according to the Tanakama, because he says, Lo yikanes l'chatzer, but he's like, I make a neder, I'm never going to benefit from you, and he sees the other guy coming in all the time, so you can go in, I can go in. But he's not allowed to, because he's the one that made the neder. Therefore, since he made a neder, he has to sell his part of the property, and to sell his part of the property to his friend, so that, and that he won't be tempted to enter into it. We'll stop here, and as we always do, dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.